what that time is. It's time for another special edition of the Joe Sixpack Racing Podcast. They're all special editions because we invite special people in from the world of sim racing, real racing, and we've had some pretty amazing guests on here. We've had people who drive in real life. We had a tire changer last year from Zane, or actually earlier this year, tire changer for Zane Smith's car. And he was talking about something they were doing called the 24 Hours of Beers on iRacing. So this is the Joe Sixpack Podcast. I want to let you know the Dash for Cash, the Joe Sixpack Truck Racing Series, will take place on Thursday, September 8th, 8 p.m. It'll be live on iRacing, broadcast by McConey Entertainment. That name sounds familiar. It's Jeff McConey from the McConey Setup Shop, the 800-pound gorilla in the world of iRacing. Just had a meeting with him the other night. We set things up, smooth meeting, cool dude. And he's going to bring a producer. And the producer is the guy who does the Coke series for iRacing. And we'll also have some two broadcasters. $150 in prize money, free to get in. First 30 cars in the lobby get to race. $75 for first place, $50 for second, $25 for third. And that's Thursday, September 3rd, 8 p.m. under hosted. Is the Joe Sixpack Dash for Cash. And if it works out, we'll do this about once every 8 weeks because it gets a little expensive doing that every month. And as usual, we have a special guest with us tonight, Chris Lewis, professional kart driver. It's his first season. I got to ask him about those go-karts because they just sound so much fun. He's also the co-owner of TI Racing, and they have a new season, the TI Racing ARCA Series, starting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, which I'm going to try to jump in. And good evening, Chris. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. What about you?
I'm doing fine, except I don't know how the weather is down there, but I mentioned I was semi-retired. I've got a lawn care business, going out mowing and trimming, and I'm having some of my biggest customers start calling and saying, I don't need you this month. It hasn't rained in a while. So got to start pinching those pennies.
So you need to move up here in North Carolina. We, for the past 2 weeks, it's rained literally every single day.
Oh man, that's what it was like last year. My, I don't know if you've seen if you follow me on Facebook, but my garden out back is like the Garden of Eden. And last year we had so much rain. It was underwater. It was pitiful. Everything was dead and full of mildew, like no tomatoes. This year I'm swimming in tomatoes.
But we've got a lot of corn up here. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a farmer, so I have no idea if rain's good for corn.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But the neighbors.
An acre of corn will take 200 to 400 gallons of water out of the ground a day.
So yeah, I guess so. Neighbors' cornfield's been flourishing.
Oh, good. So, all right, enough talk about gardening and farming. We're here to talk about racing, right? So tell me how you first got into racing. I see it was like you're 4 or 5 years old. How did it happen? What made you get hooked? And who was your influence to get you into racing when you were that young?
It was my dad. Every Sunday he'd watch the NASCAR races, and growing up as a kid, I'd watch them with him. It's going to sound really bad, but what hooked me was the 2001 Daytona 500 when Dale died. Oh, that was my dad's favorite driver, and to see my dad cry, I've never seen my dad cry before.
Oh, really? Wow.
That kind of hooked me into it.
I get that. Yeah, that was a horrible. My guest last week, his grandfather had the team that beat Dale on the last turn at the 1990 Daytona 500. So he had some good stories. So
that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, and he says his uncle raced with Dale Jr. in the Buddy Wallace Racing School, and he's still pretty good friends with him and such. So your first car, tell me about your first car.
The first car I ever drove, or like my first personal car?
First car you owned. Then what? Tell us about the first car you drove. That's always a good topic too.
First car I ever owned, it was 2012 Toyota Camry. and it was the god awful green.
Oh, cat puke green?
Yeah. My mom bought it for me brand new. She said that if I wanted a car, she'd buy it for me, but she got to pick which one I got.
Oh!
Yeah, that's the one I got. It was, it stood out. I never lost it in the Walmart parking lot.
Oh, there you go. Was it?
It's grossest color.
Well, at least it was a new car. A 2-door or 4-door?
A 4-door.
Okay. I had a similar story. I bought my first car, but it wasn't the car I wanted. I was kind of forced into it by Dad. My car that I wanted, this goes back in the late 70s. Actually, it was 1980. I had a really good job in high school. I was a police dispatcher for the state police and making like insane dollars back then, like twice what minimum wage was. So I was out car shopping, and we went to this one car dealer, and they had a 77 2-door Nova. It wasn't the SS, but I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing the mag wheels, I'm seeing the stereo, I'm seeing my friends hanging out the windows, and it was like I want to say $2,800 or something, because cars were cheap back then. And take it out for a test drive, and everything's fine. Then my father says, "I don't think you should buy that car." I go, "What do you mean? You know I want a Nova." And he goes, "Well, you should have a 4-door car." I'm like, "What do you mean a 4-door car?" He goes, "Well, in case you go on a double date, it's not polite to ask girls to climb in and out of the back seats." So I'm like, number one, all my friends that have girlfriends have 2-door cars, and that's why they have girlfriends. And number two, I don't have a girlfriend. So I ended up buying a car that he had saw at a friend's house at the neighbor's. It was 76. It was a grandfather's car, kind of like you getting the Camry type of thing. It was a 4-door Ford Granada. It was pearl white, big old blue vinyl top with the door stripes that go down the side, the protectors there. They were blue vinyl too, and it looked like something my grandfather would drive. But that's the car I ended up buying just to get my father off my back. So
at least you got a good color, though.
Oh yeah, green. Yep. No, it was great, and it just turned out to be one of those, late 70s cars, which they still hadn't figured out the pollution stuff on them yet. And a couple of years later, it ran like garbage, and didn't have air conditioning in it. I didn't find that out until after I had signed the papers. The Nova had air conditioning, so that's my story of not getting the car I want. So, what's your dream car?
My dream car, or used to be my dream car, was a Camaro. I got it a couple years ago. Loved it to death. Yeah, it was my baby girl.
Gotcha.
It's just I'm 27 years old, and it sucks getting in and out of.
I've noticed that. I think they look awesome from the outside, and I sat in one just, because, again, I'm a Chevy guy. I haven't owned a Chevy in 20 years, but, it's that tradition, and I didn't like feeling, felt claustrophobic. I thought the view out the front window and the back window was kind of lacking.
Yeah, there's no room out the back window. For 2 years, I just guessed it when I got over it. I never guessed wrong, but.
So what are you driving now?
Right now, I drive a Chevy Equinox, little family car.
Okay, that's pretty much what I drove until I retired, and I said I wasn't going to do what the retired white guy does. Right, ended up doing the same thing, but I got an excuse. I've got a landscaping business. Every other guy I know that's 50s and 60s, they go out and they buy these gigantic trucks that they don't need. But at least I got an excuse, because everybody up here drives them. So, your new job there. Tell us about full-time karting. How did you get into that, and what's your experience before you went full-time with it?
Full-time karting started when I went down to my local track, and honestly, I fell in love with it. I've been iRacing for years and years and years. Yeah. I love it, and I've always wanted to get into racing.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of opportunities, little one-off spoofs to drive a Legends car, drive a street stock.
Yeah.
And I had a blast there. on iRacing, I own my own team. I've loved doing that. So I thought, I'll save up a little bit and I'll start a karting team.
Oh, cool.
Finally got the money for it last summer, bought the car, went through 6 months of practice training, started in February, and have been going strong ever since. Got to meet a lot of interesting people doing it. I've got to race against William Byron, Joey Logano.
Oh, no kidding.
There's one more.
You said Willpower?
Yeah, William Byron.
Ah, okay. What's it like putting your own team together and then watching the super funded NASCAR guys come in and park right next to you and race against you? Is it a little intimidating?
Yep, it's the biggest headache in the whole world.
Ah, okay.
It sucks showing up to the track with a little Chevy Equinox and a little lawnmower trailer behind you with a go-kart on it.
Yep.
And here they come in an actual NASCAR race hauler with 2 go-karts in the back.
Oh, man. Well, don't feel bad. When I started my lawn mowing business, I did not have a truck. I had a Pontiac Vibe, which was a little station wagon, and I put a trailer on the back of it. It was a 4x6 piece of crap trailer from Lowe's. Threw a couple push mowers on it, and anytime I went out with the blower and the weed whacker, I had to fold down the back seats. It was pretty sad. So I said, and I'm like, I said, I've been in the lawn and garden business on the retail end for like 35 years, and I was king crap in my area. Now I'm looking like, the little guy. It's like, oh, pulling up against these guys with these, these gigantic Ford 350s or whatever, with whatever Power Stroke or Super Stroke, whatever engines are in them, and they got these gigantic mowers and.
I can only imagine.
so that lasted about, I think, 1.5 seasons, and then I bought a 2005 Tacoma, ran that one, I think, 2 seasons, and then last year I just bought a brand new Tacoma. So we're up there. We've got the big mowers now and the real trailer. So yeah, I know what it's like pulling in, like you said there. So what's it like? Are those guys friendly to race with? Are they super competitive, offering tips, or what's it like when you get over the intimidation of the big trailers coming in next to you?
It's something different. I think the nicest guy I've ever met was William Byron. He actually talked to me, gave me a few tips.
Oh, that's
all
cool.
These other, top guys, that they won't come near you. They won't bother with you. If you need anything, don't go to them. But William Byron is pretty nice.
Yeah. We were at Martinsville last year when the incident between Hamlin and Byron happened. We happened to be right at the finish line, and we got all that on I took my phone, got it on video, and I put it up on YouTube and like that, and I'm like, or Twitter and Instagram. Like, whoa, I got 100 people that liked it already. Whoa, my son turns around. He's social media manager for a motorcycle racing league up in New England. He took the same video that I did, and 20 minutes later, he had 40,000 hits on it. And I'm like, you suck.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah. And here it is. I got him into media, and I got him into photography, and he's not sharing any of his secrets. So,
Sounds like you raised him right, though.
I did. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yep. And the funniest thing was, everybody's yelling at Hamlin and going crazy because Hamlin's pushing Byron's car backwards, and Byron's just sitting there not doing anything. He's just and then Hamlin gives him the finger. And then all of a sudden, from probably 15 or 20 rows back, here comes this beer bottle. It goes up, clears the catch fence, and right on Hamlin's windshield, it just went boom.
that was Bowman, wasn't it? Not Byron.
Oh, Bowman, you're right. Bowman, Byron, AJ Allmendinger, Jason Allgaier. I get the names mixed up. So yeah, it was Bowman.
Yeah.
Not Byron.
Were you there in Martinsville in 17 when Hamlin? That was Chase. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I always get Bowman and Byron mixed up. It was a couple of years ago. I had finally got all the names and numbers together. Okay, that guy's 19. This one is in car 27. And then they all switched teams, so I'm still trying to catch that up there. I just blame it on semi old age. You know how that goes.
Not yet. Not yet, thankfully.
So is it? I've seen a bunch of different stories on karting because my son and I considered doing that. Um, is it affordable for Joe Six Pack, or can you go crazy and spend too much money on it?
It's definitely the most affordable racing thing that you
Mm-hmm.
can do out there. But your typical Joe Six Pack guy is going to spend 10, 20 grand, and he's going to run middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no getting out of the middle of the pack, no matter how talented you are. These top guys, I mean, they're throwing 100, 150 grand in their cart every year
Oh my
to
gosh!
be up front.
Yeah. And do they make any money on it spending that much?
Oh, yeah, there's quite a bit of money in it. There's actually
Oh,
more
okay.
money in the karting than there was in Legends cars, which kind of blew my mind away.
Yeah. Um, Probably more money in karting than there are in a lot of the dirt tracks around too.
Yeah, I never would imagined. Karting to me is the lower tier series, but
Yeah.
the more I got into it and the more, I was researching before I even bought the team, I realized it's not.
No kidding. Well, that's pretty cool. We've got, I think, one track near us. How many are down by you? And how far do you have to travel to do your whole circuit or season? And how many races is it?
We've went all the way out to Salt Lake City, Utah before.
No kidding.
Already. Yeah. Which is 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
The closest track to me is GoPro Motorplex. It's an hour away.
Ah, okay. Any other tracks
So
close
that
by?
one's easy.
Okay. So you drove, of course, you drove all the way out to Salt Lake. Salt Lake City is nice, but I couldn't imagine driving through a day and a half of corn through Kansas and stuff.
It was nice until you got to the middle of the country. Then it was just flat.
Yep. That's why they call it flyover land.
Yeah. Same thing for miles and miles
Oh,
and
yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
We ran into a storm in Kansas. I hated that because I've got $10,000 in my cart
Yep.
behind me in an open face lawnmower trailer,
Oh, no.
and it's pouring the rain. There's a little bit of hail.
Oh, man.
I don't have it covered at that point. We had to pull over to cover it. It was awful.
How many people did you bring out to Salt Lake with you?
3.
Oh, wow. That must have been a fun trip.
Yeah. Yep, we all packed into my Equinox. It was me, my mechanic, and my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, no kidding. Still your girlfriend?
Yep, still with me,
Oh,
thankfully.
there you go.
She hasn't been scared away by the whole karting thing.
Oh, well, that's pretty good if that's the case. I'm going up to Watkins Glen this weekend, and I've got, we go up there. That's my mecca. That's my vacation, my big vacation for the year. So we buy the hot passes and all the accoutrements to go with it. So my son just found out last week. He says, you got someone to give that ticket to? And I'm like, what do you mean? He got his press credentials for NASCAR this weekend. So I've got another friend who's really into racing. I went to high school with him. And so I went up to a local dirt track Friday night and brought him all the tickets and everything. And these guys are doing, it's a modified, but they're in what's called the limited sportsman series.
Yeah.
These cars are expensive. And so my friend he went out and bought a brand new truck, brand new trailer. He drives the truck and trailer, and the other guy drives the car. And if they win $100. That's the prize money in that race. Whereas, the other modified small block and big block, I don't know what it is, but on a good night, it might be 3,000 or 4,000. I'm like, you win $100? He says, yep, this is a training league. And they tell us if we don't like it, go race with the big boys. So it was a lot of fun. And this guy's stepdaughter, when they got done with the qualifying, she was right there with the wrenches and throwing stuff off the car and putting the new gears on and cleaning this and tuning up that. I said to my friend Jack, I said, that girl knows what she's doing. He says, yeah, she knows how to drive too. So the guy had a problem with his engine, and his stepdaughter gave the guy her engine until they get a new one in the car this week. So I can't imagine going out with all that stuff, and if you win, just to win $100, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't even pay for the gas.
No, not even. So so I hung out with them in the pits, and it was fun. It's a different world in the pits. So what do you bring with you when you go karting? What are the extra parts that you need?
We basically bring with us an extra go kart. It's not, assembled or anything, but we
Okay.
have a spare for literally every part on that thing, just in case it breaks.
Okay.
Especially when we go hours and hours away.
Right.
Couple of different sets of tires.
Yep.
A couple of cans of gas.
And what kind of gas you running them?
110 racing fuel.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, these things that hit 120 miles an hour if you keep them open.
Wow. What type of tracks you run on? Road courses or ovals?
Road courses.
Okay. I love road courses on iRacing. I don't even want to tell you which my I rating is. It's like 600, and I'm in C class. But I love road courses. I suck at them, but I love them. There's just something about going out there in Laguna Seca or some of these other ones and having a good time.
See, I can't even stand them, especially on iRacing. I've always been an oval guy, so road courses, throw them right in the trap, hate them.
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing with them. So,
yeah.
So, how many races have you done this year in karting?
I've done 10 so far.
What's your best finish?
Best finish, it was 18th out of 35.
Oh, that's not horrible.
No, we're middle of the pack. I mean, It's not, nothing to brag about, but we're learning. It's our first year.
Cool. So you've got how many are on your team?
Literally just me right now. We had a plan to bring one of my friends with us.
Yeah.
And we had him kart, but when he was testing it, he killed it. And I mean, he killed it. He bent the frame and everything.
Oh, ouch.
So, yeah, we're down a kart in that aspect of it. But
is he still your friend?
Oh, yeah. I still love him to death.
I got a little nervous the way you said he killed it. He bent the frame.
he really killed it. It's different when you first get the kart, though, because we had no idea how to set this thing up. So we were both going out testing at the track at the same time. And our mechanic had no idea what he was doing. So we were just trying different things. And what we did for Locklear didn't work, and he put it right on the barrier.
Oh, that's rough. Did he get hurt, or is he okay?
No, he was perfectly fine.
That's cool.
Yeah, kart, on the other hand, he's kind of dead, but.
Oh, so tell me about TI Racing, how you started that, and a little bit about your friend there, Landon.
So TI Racing was started with me and Landon back in 2018. He got me into iRacing. We both love racing. We both loved Jeff Gordon as a kid.
Oh, cool.
And he showed me the game, how it works and everything.
Yeah.
And I tried it out. I fell in love with it really quickly. And I was like, hey, Hendrick Motorsports has a team. Why don't we have a team? He said, okay, let's start one. We created TI Racing.
Cool.
And started off really good. We actually got a couple of sponsors really early.
No kidding.
To help us. Yeah. And since then, we've stuck with them. A couple of them have went with me on the real life side of things. And
that's cool.
We're going with it now, whatever it takes.
How did you find sponsors? Because that is the hardest thing to do. We've had some guys in our league in the past. One was a big car dealer, and they would sponsor like a race. And we had a couple graphics guys that do wraps and stuff like that would sponsor a race. How do you convince someone to put up money for basically, if they look at it, it says this is just a cartoon, nobody's watching?
So starting off with, it wasn't easy, but I'm a salesman by trade. That's what I do for a living.
Okay, that helps.
So I found a niche.
Yeah.
There was a way that you could convince people really easy on, hey, give me a sponsorship. Don't pay me $100, $200 to do the sponsorship. Instead, your product that you sell, let me put it on my car for free. Mm-hmm. And whatever, give me some kind of code or something that you use online. And whatever I sell for you, give me a share of the profits.
Oh, so kind of like affiliate marketing.
Yeah, and that was the easiest thing to sell. And now we've come to the point where we're just like, hey, this is our numbers. This is what we did for this guy. This is what we can do for you.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
People are throwing on it really easy and quick.
Well, that's cool. Is the league broadcast?
Yeah. Our league is broadcasted. Okay. We've got sponsorships for them. I've got an affiliate team that I run that will be there as well tomorrow night. Cool. That also has full sponsorships.
No kidding. That's pretty good. Because that, like I said, that is the hardest thing to do. So you're a salesman. I have a hard time shaking people down for sponsoring because, I mean, our leagues that we had with our broadcasters, we were always number 2 or number 3 in number of views for the week, which was a couple of hundred. But it's like, you want to give me $200 for the season and maybe 20 people will watch it every week. It's kind of hard. But if you got the sales pitch angle, that's good. I was just reading an article about the king of door-to-door salesmen who just happened to be from Salt Lake City. And he says one of his things he does is he uses the grandkid approach. You go like, oh, you need this. And the other one is, which he convinces people, he says is probably his best conversion tool, is when people start having some doubts about it, you give them the guilt trip. Well, maybe this just isn't right for you. Think about it and, call me back if you're interested. And then all of a sudden they get this guilt trip like, oh, what do you mean it's not for me? Yeah, I want it. So he makes people feel guilty about it and ends up buying it. He was selling, I think, home alarm systems or something. So that was one of his tricks. And the guy, can you imagine going door to door today when like nobody's home? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of telecommuters now, but this guy's making $1.5 million a year going door to door selling alarm systems out in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go door to door. There's way too many people with guns in the South.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to deal with.
Yeah. And there's certain neighborhoods around here, there's a lot of people with guns that shouldn't have the guns. That's what it's like.
Yeah, we have those too. They're friendly sometimes.
Sometimes, yep. So you like NASCAR and followed closely by Formula One. How long have you been in Formula One?
Been in Formula One this is my second year watching it religiously.
Cool.
What did huge Max Verstappen fan.
I was going to ask you, what did you think? What did you think about the way Hamilton lost the championship last year during that?
It's definitely rigged, but I was jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was over. We were going to lose. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden there was hope.
Yep. When they only let 5 cars do the wave around instead of the whole field.
Yeah,
something
was rigged there.
Yeah. And then
I've been on it for 2 years, and I can already tell money talks in Formula One. So somebody paid somebody off.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was one of the race officials who made that decision. He said the Mercedes guy was just in his face on the radio, of course, telling him, "You got to do this. You got to do this. This isn't basically jawboning for Verstappen to win." And I guess he caved in, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, as a team owner, I would have done the same thing.
Oh, sure.
That's what you got to do. That's what you get paid to do.
Yeah, especially with the money. What those cars cost, like $12 to $15 million a piece or something crazy like that.
I think it's something a little more than that.
Wow. And then when you see one crash, it's like, oh my gosh, there goes a couple $1 million right there.
Yeah. Mick Schumacher's done a good job at that this year.
Oh, seen some nasty crashes there. So who's broadcasting the league tomorrow night?
HAR Esports. They've been with me for the whole ARCA League since it began. I love the guy that does it to death.
Cool.
Me and him talk literally every single day.
Oh, that's good.
He makes sure that I do what he needs to know for the broadcast.
That's cool. And what platforms do you broadcast on?
He goes on Facebook, YouTube, and I think he does it on Twitch too, but I don't ever pay attention to Twitch.
Yeah, the only reason I do this on Twitch is because I learned how to do it, and it's relatively simple. I've looked at some of the other ones, and I've never been on the other end of the microphone. I've always been, in front of the camera, in front of the mic. I've never done any of that background stuff. Well, talk radio I did. I had just a little mixer board in front of me, but the one is, here's your microphone, there's the phone call, you turn this one up, turn that one down, push this for the news, and when we go off the air, you push that button. It's not like doing a broadcast setup. So I found Twitch to be pretty easy to use, and I figured, well, if I can do this, that's good enough for me. So
that's good. Twitch seems to be the easiest. I've ran in a couple of leagues that have used Twitch, and one of them got 500-600 views a race. That was amazing.
That is really good. What's your viewership? What's your viewership like in this league?
We're averaging 100, 200 people a race. It's nothing too big, but we'll take what we can get. We're still growing.
Yeah, if you think about it, though, it's such a niche market, and there's 6,000 leagues on iRacing, and to have 100 people that actually tune in and watch part of it during the week, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's we've progressed every season since we've started, and we're rolling into season 4 tomorrow. And I've got an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to roll out a fan favorite vote award.
Oh,
and the winner of this is going to get $25 at the end of the year. And what you do is you watch the Facebook broadcast, and you comment your favorite driver. At the end of the race, I'll tally all of those votes, and we'll go on to next week. And at the end of the year, whoever wins $25.
That's pretty good. And what's the prize payout for top 3 and such like that?
Not a dime.
Okay, that's fair.
You get bragging rights. That's all you get.
Oh, yeah. We used to do when we first started, just to keep the interest going. Once a month, there was a money race, and it was like, I don't know, I think it was like $50 for the top 3. But what we noticed was, of course, after these guys found out, our money races, we had 35, 40 cars. Then the next week, it was down to 20. So I'm like, you know what, guys? We're not doing the money races anymore. So if you want the prize at the end of the season, we'd do like a little trophy or something, or T-shirts. And I would do the new driver of the season that had the highest points after 6 weeks would get a Joe Sixpack Racing T-shirt. Like that.
See, that'd be pretty neat. I haven't thought of that yet.
Yeah. So, and it was easy because I did the T-shirt online. I said, just give me the size of the T-shirt, your name and address, fill in the blanks. I can do that. I know how to fill in the blanks, although my spelling sucks. And then, boom, T-shirt goes out. So then one time they sent the T-shirt to me, and I called them up and I said, why'd you send this to me? I was supposed to go to some guy in South Carolina. They told me to keep the T-shirt, and they'd send him another one. So, hey, I won my own T-shirt. Didn't have to pay for it. That was cool.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah. How does the scoring work in the league?
It's one of the hardest championships to win. First place, you get 25 points.
Okay.
Second place, you get 24. Third place, you get 23, so on and so forth.
Okay.
So it's consistency. It's not, NASCAR's got the win in your in thing now, and I absolutely hate that.
Yep, I can understand that.
Yeah, so consistency wins the championship in my league.
Good way to do it. So you download all the info after the race and you input stuff manually, or do you use an outside source for scoring?
You're gonna laugh at me, but I literally just print out the scoring sheet at the end of the race, and then take my pen and paper on a different sheet of paper and do it the old school way. No, no, it's right. I've done it with Sim Racer Hub before, and
Yeah.
it's screwed up so many times. I
Yep.
just got tired of it.
I don't
I'll do
blame
it
you.
all by hand.
Yeah. I was doing it, sending the results out, what is it, by CSV or whatever to Microsoft Excel
Yeah.
and going through and doing all that. Oh my gosh, what a pain in the neck. It was.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when you open the file to send it out, the columns are the wrong size and all the names are squished over to the side. It just got to be, I was probably spending 15 to 20 hours a week doing the scoring on the two leagues. And then I just happened to be messing around in iRacing. Oh, they have automatic scoring. So we did one league with just the NASCAR scoring, and the Cup League, we used the ARCA scoring. So 1 point for the pole, 1 point if you lead a lap, and I think the winner got 2 points higher than second place. It just made it so much easier because everything was done right after the race, and did it that way. So I'm not sure what we're going to do when we start the Truck League and Xfinity League up this fall. So, but
Have you ever had that moment? Because I did the iRacing thing.
Yeah.
And it was one of my own drivers. The season started at Daytona.
Yep.
And he passed below the line to win the race.
Oh, yeah. We had a couple situations like that.
Yeah. iRacing scores him first.
Yep.
You can't fix it, or at least I haven't found out how to fix it. So the one time I tried it, I literally had to just give it up after the first race and go back to pen and paper.
You can fix it. There is a way to go in there and edit the points later on. It's hard. It's hard to find. Like a lot of stuff on iRacing, you gotta. It's not built, not made logically. Like when you're doing the setups for a race, they're not in alphabetical order, but yet the tracks and the cars are. And that drives me crazy because I wear transition eyeglasses, and I got to look up in this way and then look down, look around, and it's just like, Talladega Open setup is way up at the top. The Talladega Fixed is like 27 columns down. Sometimes it's not there at all. We were doing the Cup cars at Bristol in the dirt, and they didn't have a setting for it, so we had to make up our own setting. And luckily, it turned out to work. So, yeah, there is a way to go in and edit the points after, because we had penalties where you lost points. And what else? There was some other things that you had to go in and edit points for certain things. And a lot of times, if it was like iRacing made a mistake, but whatever. But yeah, it's hard to find. So yeah, we would go in below the line to pass. That would definitely be a did not finish for that one.
Yeah, that was awful. It's hard calling penalties on your own teammate too.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah. So are you racing tomorrow night, or who does your race control?
I am racing, and I'm doing race control with the help of one of the broadcasters.
Ah, okay. That makes it easier.
Yeah, what he does is he finds out what's going on, and then he'll come into my chat, tell me what's going on. I'll make the decision. He'll roll with it.
Ah, okay. And what type of do you have any appeals if somebody doesn't think they did something wrong? How does that work? And what are some of the penalties for, like, I don't know, like intentionally wrecking somebody? What's the penalty for that?
Intentionally wrecking, you're done. There's no more. You're done. I don't put up with that. I put too much work and money into this thing for somebody to go out there and act like a complete moron. So,
yep. In race chats, what do you do about arguments if somebody? Of course, you're gonna cause your fair share of wrecks, but when you're in the car, I didn't do that. You hit me. So what do you do if a couple guys start going at it online?
I let them go at it.
Oh, you do in the in race chat?
Yeah, in race chat, they can argue, they can, say whatever they want to each other.
Ah, okay.
When I get annoyed is when somebody gets muted.
Got it. Okay.
You can say, I'll let you say a couple of things, because
Yeah.
I've said a couple of things.
Sure.
But there comes a point in time where you're just saying too much.
And yeah, you start to look stupid.
Yeah, and then you get muted, and then I don't have to worry about you anymore.
Yep. When you start sounding like the whiners on the iRacing and NASCAR Facebook pages, then you shut them off.
Yeah, sure do. I don't mind. We've had a couple of instances where people have, said some pretty mean things to each other.
Yeah.
And they're teammates now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the most part in our leagues, everybody got along, but we finally ended up going with what we called a one and done, because we had a lot of guys that were fierce competitors, good drivers, and they also had fierce mouths. And you get the other guys that just like to sit there and be quiet and race. And me, when I hear someone yelling back and forth like that, I lose my concentration and end up crashing myself or whatever, not driving as well. So we had a one and done. You call the guy an a-hole, he calls you an a-hole. That's it. You do it again, you get muted. You can do the same thing on the Discord channel or the Facebook channel, one and done. If you want to take it private and do your own back and forth on, private chat on the in-car stuff like that, just you and the other driver, that's perfectly fine. So
yeah.
So where are we at tomorrow night at the race?
Talladega. Yep. Season always starts at Talladega. There's no Daytona. We did Talladega because you can go 3 wide, 4 wide sometimes.
Yeah.
Daytona, you can really only go 2 wide, 3 wide. You'll eventually wreck after a lap.
Yeah. I was doing the AI race today with ARCA at Talladega, and oh my gosh, the AI racing on there has improved so much. It's crazy. If you start bumping into one car, somehow that car knows that you're the one doing it, and they'll come back and bump you later on for retaliation. And it was crazy. It was, most of the race was 3 and 4 wide, and I don't know how I started out at 29th because I was having problems with my headphones because the engine noise was bleeding over. And so I ended up starting at the rear, and by lap 6, I was up at number 1. And every AI car that I had was either slightly lower skills than me or even, or it's kind of split right down the middle, probably 50-50 more skill and less skill. But it was insane. It was so much fun.
So. Yeah, we love Talladega. We've done it since season 2, and we've had some really good finishes. Last season, we had a kind of like a photo finish with 4 cars. I mean, you can't get that anywhere else to start the season.
Yeah. So, I love the sound of those ARCA cars.
Yeah, I do too. I love the feel of them. Those are one of my favorite NASCAR cars of all time.
They are a blast. After driving the Cup cars, I don't know. I think I like the Cup cars, but I think they're too easy to drive. But then you get in like, Xfinity or ARCA, and on some of the tracks, the ARCA cars are like, if you like going into turn 1 and 2, if you don't have turn 1 right, you're not going to make turn 2. Yeah. So it's a lot more skill, and just the feel of them is great. And the Xfinity's fun to drive too.
Xfinity, I hate. I can't stand the Xfinity car. I suck at it. That's probably why.
But yeah, ARCA cars they're fun to drive.
Yeah, we love them to death. That's why we do them. And the fuel that we run makes it interesting.
So tomorrow night's what, 65 laps?
65 laps, 40% fuel.
So how many pit stops does that turn into on average?
You can go 17.
Oh,
so if you do the math, you are exactly right at that 65.
Okay. So you're looking at 3 or 4 pit stops, depending on how many cautions and how you save fuel and tires.
Yep.
Okay.
And it always comes down to fuel here.
Cool. Any reason you only do 2 sets of tires?
Yeah, when you go, besides Talladega, because you don't need tires at Talladega, but when you go to Vegas and like Dover, that's coming up in the season,
yeah,
the strategy that you can pull off with only 2 sets of tires and 35% fuel gives people like me that I don't have the skill to run first, but I can get the strategy right.
there you go.
And that's how I won my race in my own league. I got the strategy right.
Okay. Yeah, I was never. We had a couple of our admins that were season champions and always up front for a good chunk of the time. But then you look at me and I'm like, if I finish in the top 10, I'm like ecstatic. I'm usually like, 20. If we had 20 cars, I'm like number 13 or 14, but perfectly happy with that.
Yes, that's basically what I am
Yeah.
too. I'm shooting for a top 10. If I get a top 10, I win. In my mind.
Yep. Yep. And when I do win, which is maybe 3 or 4 races a year, and I usually run a couple hundred, I am like, hey, I'm king crap for the day. I go running upstairs, tell my wife. She's like, what happened? I won! I won a race! Even if it's an unofficial, I won! Like,
done that before.
Oh, yeah. There was some of the guys in our three of our admins, they started three drunk guys broadcasting. And they were experimenting on our league, so they started the up and coming series for anybody that's raced in Joe Sixpack that has not won a race. And I was one of the ones that didn't win a race. And what these guys would do, one of them was in Ireland, one was in Long Island, and the other one was in Detroit. And they would literally start drinking a half hour before the race. And it was absolutely insane listening to these guys. They would come in and do like the in-car interviews, and there was one short track where I was in second place after this guy had led like 140 of the 150 lap races, and they're like egging me on. You gonna dump him? You gonna dump him? This is short track racing. And I go, no, I don't drive like that. And you go, come on, you gotta dump him. So then they would go to the other guy that was in the lead, and they would tell him, hey, next first turn after the green, Greg's going to dump you. What do you think of that? They would egg both of us on, and we would go at it on the radio. It was a blast. So I ended up winning one of those races, and I ran upstairs. And I'm like, I won. And my son, who's 21, he's won, I don't know, maybe 300 or 400 races in the last 5 years. He's like, will you just be quiet? I'm talking to my girlfriend. I'm like, gee, dude, I'll go back downstairs. Because I was in the post race interview with the three drunk guys broadcasting, and they were saying, "Wow, what happened to you? You're coming out. You're driving really well lately." My son looks at me and goes, "Will you turn it down? I'm talking to my girlfriend." I said, "Shut up, Sam. Nobody likes you." So how many races are in the season?
It's 8 races.
Oh, short season.
Short season. That way, I found that's better to keep attention.
Yeah.
Because, you run 16-week seasons, and by race 10, you have half the people that originally started.
Pretty much, yeah. So do you take a break between seasons or just roll it over into the next one?
Take a 2-week break and roll over into the next one. We have team championships, and, we have team owners, and these team owners have been super good about, we have people that just come in off of Facebook that, hey, I just want to run and have fun, and they do kind of decent. One of the team owners comes up to them and grabs them and pulls them on their team, and
cool.
They make new friends, and it's been exciting running that.
That's cool. We started really pushing teams the last couple of years in our league, and I had signed up with this one team. I learned so much because this guy that was the team owner or started the team, two of the other guys that were on the team actually raced, and this guy was a mechanic and an engineer for a big dirt track team out of Vermont that goes down to Florida every winter. And just being on there, and then next thing you know, our 4 cars are up front almost every race because we practiced every week together and pit strategies. I really learned a lot in the benefits of being on a team and working with somebody as opposed to trying to have to find somebody to work with in the middle of the race.
Yeah, man. The whole teammate thing is it's super fun. You know, it's a video game, but to have people that you run with, that you talk to, you practice with, you have fun with, that brings excitement into this video game,
sure does.
Which I love.
It's a whole nother dimension. Do you run a butt kicker or any other seat shakers?
Do what?
Butt kicker?
No, I run on a kitchen table chair.
Ah, okay. No, the butt kicker is the butt kicker is what some people call a seat shaker. What it does is when it adds the vibration feel of the road of the track right to your seat. Check them out. Totally changed the way I race. So like if you're on a road course and you go up against a rumble strip on the inside or outside turn, you can actually feel the shake and the rumble on the whatever side of the car that your tires are going off. It is really cool.
That's neat. Does it make you faster?
It doesn't make you faster, but it gives you more feel of the road better than force feedback does. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, if you're a brand new racer, it's not going to do anything for you, but it gives you the feel of the road. You can actually, some guys put 4 or 5 of them on, like one on every tire and one in every corner, and they can feel that you can set them up where you can feel the tire slip and you can feel which ones you're spinning on the start. But I just got one. I don't have any more plugs on my computer and I don't want any more plugs, but it's just add another dimension to racing. Yeah.
I'll have to go look at one of those.
Yeah, there's a brand called Butt Kicker. There's a bunch of other ones. One starts with a D. It just adds like it's subwoofer is the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
So it works. It just adds another dimension to racing, just another feel. Excuse me. You mentioned on your kitchen table. That's how we started out. My son got into it a couple years before I did. He had the $39 wheel that you screw onto your dining room table, and he raced on a laptop. And then we bought a rig, and we built that, and it was sitting on the floor, still racing on a laptop. And then we built it a little bigger, and then got the monitor and got the better wheel and stuff like that. So certainly not top of the line. I still race with a G920 wheel, but I just upgraded the pedals last year. But you see some of these guys with thousands of dollars of equipment, and nope, not me. Got to keep it simple.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've got a kitchen table chair. Got my own little computer room with a single monitor and
okay.
$200 wheel, but that's as far as I'm going to go in this thing.
Yeah, I'm not doing triples. I don't think I do VR. Just not going to go that far.
No, what sealed the deal for me on this was my top driver on my team. His name's Robbie Audi.
Yeah.
And he wins basically every race I put him in. And he's got the same thing as I do.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's good. I don't know how true it was. Actually, I didn't believe it until the guy put a video up. Racing on a laptop and not even he was using either the finger pad to steer or a mouse. And he wins races like crazy. Never did any official races, all the unofficial, the truck races, carburetor cup, stuff like that. And I said, "You're doing it with a mouse?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't believe it." Until one day he put a video up showing him racing, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I could not imagine if that guy got a wheel and real stuff to race with." He was just amazing.
It'd probably be awful if he got him a real wheel.
It might go the other way. I mean, that's probably why he didn't do anything, because he says, "I'm winning now. Why spend any more money?"
Yeah, I don't blame him. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. Yep, that's a good analogy. Yeah, because I'm out of room in my downstairs man cave / little apartment. I've ended up so much crap from the racetracks and diecast. I just had to keep adding on. So where I'm doing the podcast from is my home office. It used to be my hydroponics room years ago, and the race room is around the other wall, and that's, I don't know, 7.5 by 14. Ran out of stuff there, so I had to build a little movie room onto that. So when the wife gets mad at me, I just said, "I'm going to my room." Leave me alone. We got running water down here, refrigerator. We've got the laundry. So if I get thrown out, I just go to the basement.
That works.
Yeah, I never get thrown out. She likes watching her different TV shows, and I come down to watch the races and race and such like that. So tell me about the league. Are we? Are you still recruiting? How do they get in touch with you if they want to join?
I'm still recruiting. You can just join us on the iRacing League page. Just the TI ARCA Racing League. Just join there, and I'll send you a personal message, and we'll get your number assigned. I'll get you in the Discord, and you'll be good to go.
Cool. Any special rules other than iRacing rules? What should somebody know when they sign up?
We basically, restarts are whenever you want to go. As soon as the pace car makes a move down, you can go. Other than that, it's whatever iRacing gives you.
Oh, okay. So
road course is literally whatever iRacing gives you. If you can cheat a little bit, and we've had a few drivers do it, as long as it doesn't black flag, you go for it.
Ah, okay. Cool. So are you using the restart zone or no?
No. We're just as soon as that pace car makes a move down, you can go.
That's pretty much what we did. We had the first flag of the race just to keep it interesting because we had a lot of new and casual racers that don't have. We had a 2,000 cap on our I rating, and I think the average was like 11 or 1,200. So we just said, okay, start of the race, it's the green flag. After that, it's as soon as the pace car is announced off the track by the spotter, so that way everybody knows the car is off the track. Then you can go whenever you want after that. So it gave somebody a chance to jump out and get ahead and stuff like that. What else do we need to talk about the racing there? Your league or anything like that? Just do the one league, or you got something else that you do? Oh, tell me about your teams. How do you find races for them, and are they all money races that they race in, and how does that work?
So for TI, what we have done, and we just recently incorporated this, is I run the ARCA League. I used to have a truck league. I've kind of taken a step back from that to kind of focus on the ARCA League a little more.
Sure.
ARCA League's a 2,500 cap. Can't go any more than that. So it's our lower tier guys on our team. This is the proving ground. Everybody else on my team, I know what they can do. I can put them in money leagues.
Yep.
Where they can earn me money.
Cool.
This league is used for my lower tier guys, my starting out guys that find out what they can do.
Sounds good. Well, Chris, I want to thank you for stopping by tonight. And again, how do somebody get in touch with you for getting in the league? Just go over that one more time.
Yeah, just go straight to on the iRacing page and look up TI ARCA Racing League and join there, and I'll be in touch with you and we'll find out what we can do.
Great. Well, Chris, thanks a lot. Good luck in your karting season. You definitely piqued my interest in that again. I want to do that at some point. I don't know if I want to get serious about it or just haul around some little kid in their cart like my friend does, hauling the car around for somebody. So anyway, I'm good. Good luck in your karting. When's your next race?
Next race is actually on Saturday.
Ah, well, I'll be watching Xfinity from the pits up there at Watkins Glen this weekend. So good luck in your karting. And where's that race going to be?
It's going to be in Mooresville, North Carolina.
Oh, I got a friend that lives down there from high school.
Just not too far away. Tell him to come out and check it out.
Yeah.
And, well, see if he likes it or not.
Her husband actually, she's a fourth cousin. I don't know how we ended up with fourth cousins, but she's a fourth cousin, and her husband races, I want to say, late models, and does pretty well on it. So yeah, send her a note. Say, hey, go check out this guy. Take pictures of him. Send them back to me. All right, Chris, you have yourself a good night and good luck on the race this weekend. And I'll try to make the race tomorrow night if I can change tomorrow night's episode. If not, I'll jump in next week.
Sounds good, buddy. We appreciate you having me on here.
Sure thing.
And if not, I will see you at the Joe Six-Pack Money Racing thing on September 8th.
Oh, you're going to join?
Oh, yeah. Me and JC will be there. So
cool. So Yeah, it's still like 3.5 weeks away. I don't want to over promote it, and then people like they get blind to it. But yes, people are starting to look into it. It's cool. Looking forward to it. That's going to be fun. I am not going to be racing in that. I'm going to be doing race control and working with the broadcaster and stuff. So looking forward to doing that. So if we don't see you tomorrow night, we'll see you next week at ARCA and definitely at the Dash for Cash in September.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Sure thing. Have a good night. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.
Chris Lewis, professional kart driver, racing against the big boys from NASCAR, and also co-owner of TI Racing. Their ARCA series starts tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. They're still recruiting. I just signed up today. And sounds good that it's only an 8-week season. We usually run 13 weeks in ours, but 8 weeks definitely keeps the interest, and a couple weeks off and right back into it. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for coming out, and have yourself a good night there. Speaking of money races, the Joe Six-Pack Dash for Cash is coming up on September 8th. It's 125 laps at the Charlotte Oval. Fix Set Camping World trucks, and qualifications to get in are a C license 2.0 up to A to 4.0 and IR max of 2000. So your I rating's got to be no higher than 2000 and safety rating C 2.0 to A 4.0. 3 tire changes during the race, 50% fuel load. There will be no quick repairs. 2 green-white checkers if needed. The restart zone is in effect. So if you haven't raced the restart zone, it takes a little bit to get used to. The start of the race is on the green flag. All other restarts are on the leader once you hit the restart zone, and you also must maintain pace car speed after the pace car leaves. And if you don't, you get black flagged, and we will not be clearing any black flags during that race. Stay tuned in a week or two. I might put up a practice race for it just to drum up some more support for that. It's going to be broadcast live by McConey Entertainment. And that's Jeff McConey from the McConey Setup Shop. And he's bringing with him a producer that does the Coke series for iRacing. And there's also going to be 2 broadcasters. It's $150 in prize money, $75 for first place, $50 for second, $25 for third, and that is Thursday, September 8th, 8 p.m. You can find out more information on the Joe Sixpack Racing Facebook page on Facebook, or watch for the promos. Every couple days I hit all the iRacing pages, and there's a link to the Discord, and with some more information and updates. The rules are there. So if you have any questions or want to learn more about the race, hit us up there. And again, it's $75 for first place, $50 for second place, $25 for third. And if you want to sponsor the race, we have 2 sponsorship packages. One is the presenting sponsor, which is $50. The race will be named after you. It won't be the Joe Sixpack Dash for Cash. It'll be the Joe Blow Dash for Cash, or whatever your business is there. And also sponsor for the podium. The post-race interviews will be, your name will be mentioned there. Both sponsorships will be in every ad that we do, to be on the Joe Sixpack podcast here. And the Big Kahuna, the presenting sponsor, the race will be named after you. So to be the Joe Blow Dash for Cash or Bob's Diner Dash for Cash, and also be mentioned quite frequently on the live broadcast. We'll be back tomorrow night with another edition of the Joe Sixpack podcast right here at 8 p.m. And you can watch it live on Twitch. You can watch it forever on YouTube. And you can tune in anytime on all the major podcast platforms: Anchor, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcast, Twitch, Stitcher, all the guys out there. So we will see you tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in. And once again, Chris Lewis, thanks for being on the broadcast tonight. Everybody have yourselves a good night, and we will see you on the track.